Hi, I'm Garth Ennis, and you need to be listening to Drinking with Comics.
Hello and welcome to Drinking with Comics. I'm Sean, this is Chris, that's Mike, that's Jordan, and in the middle, David Lucarelli is our guest this evening.
Woo! Hello.
Yeah. We've got a live studio audience.
Winner of the long hair contest today. Well, no, maybe not.
Yes. Kirsten's running the camera. She's got some assistance from some of the crowd. And my cousin Charles and his wife Tori are in from Chicago. So thanks for...
We'll bring you here, Charles.
The weather, the views.
Yeah.
Family.
I like your patch, war as hell.
Oh, thank you.
Are you a veteran?
No.
Okay.
No, I am
But he's
not.
seen the movies.
I understand that it's hell-like.
Yeah. There's a comic called War as Hell, so it must be.
Must be.
Maybe he's talking about Infinity War.
Oh, could be. Could be. That was hell. I mean, it's a good movie, but...
So...
Who said it sucked? Oh.
I think he was joking.
We'll get there. We'll get there eventually. So... we've got a lot to talk about. David's got some new books coming out. We're going to get that in a minute. We had another pre-show meeting the other night at Mike, so we've got a bunch of comics that we've all actually read for the most part. And I want to do a surprise announcement. As of Tuesday, my first book has been published.
What?
This is there will be more coming, but this is seven. So it's a collection of desires. It's 7 Tales of Modern Horror, 7 short stories. I'm very proud of it, and it's available on Amazon right now. Eventually, it will be available other places as well. But
Do you have copies here tonight to sell?
I don't. I have copies on the way. This is just a proof. I just got this like 2 days ago.
Check
so.
you out. You didn't even tell me.
I didn't tell anybody.
That's cool.
Proof it. It's gonna be one of those kind of shows.
It is. So let's talk about somebody else who has just recently published a new book with Alterna Comics, and who has a new book that will be coming out, the 3rd and final volume of the Children's Vampire Hunting Brigade. So David, you were on you said about 2.5 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
And so when you were on before, was that, there were the 2 volumes, had the second one just come out or had it been out for a while? I don't remember.
Yeah, the second one had come out, and I think I hadn't gotten invited to Scotland as a guest for Glasgow Comic Con yet, right? So that was the big thing that happened to me, is that I got to go to Scotland.
Glasgow's awesome. Too.
Glasgow is amazing, and I got to see firsthand, like, the cemetery where the Gorbals vampire incident that inspired the series of books took place. I had my first sold-out con, actually, over there.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was
you
really...
totally deserve it. The books are great, too.
Oh, thank you, man. It was like the trip of a lifetime, really, and it informed the 3rd volume, made it a lot more authentic, not only because I was able to walk the underground tunnels and see the castles and the ruins and the cemeteries, but also because I got to meet and befriend a lot of really cool Scottish people, at least one of which ended up as a character in the book.
Oh, that's awesome. Huh. Wow, okay. Really, really cool. So had you already started the 3rd volume when you went, or that was like the impetus, or, I mean, you obviously already had one in mind.
Yeah, I kind of knew generally where the story was going to go, where it was going to end up, but I hadn't started working on it until I went to Scotland.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the end of the series then? It's like
This
a trilogy?
is it. Yeah, it's
Okay.
done. Yeah, right.
How's that feel?
It's weird because I've been living with these characters for 5 years, and it's kind of like saying goodbye to your friends. You know?
Right. So for people at home, do you have like an elevator pitch for the series?
Sure. It's like a punk rock Buffy set in Scotland, coming of age gothic adventure. Was inspired by the real life Gorbals vampire incident. So Scotland, 1950s, hundreds of school kids went looking for a vampire in real life in a cemetery. It was considered mass hysteria, but in our book they found what they're looking for. They formed the Brigade, and then 50 years later these 2 juvenile delinquents are drinking in that graveyard the night the vampires come back.
Ooh.
So
Very cool. And then does this have the characters from the second book, or?
yeah. So this is the
It's all the same
cover.
characters.
This is the cover for the 3rd and final volume. And each volume is a self-contained story, but it's all part of an overall trilogy. And we are fully funded on Kickstarter right now.
Yeah, man, and you're unlocking what do you call them? The
Stretch goals.
The stretch goals, and you're wearing one of them, are you not?
Well,
right?
yeah. So this is
This is a stretch
something you
goal.
can get as an add-on. It's like an all-over print shirt. Which actually, I got to show
That's cool.
you. I got to show you the back of this too.
Oh, wow.
This is what the back cover.
Ooh.
Right? Isn't that cool?
Badass.
Henry Ponciano is the artist. He's,
Badass. Henry, wonderful.
And he draws your other book too.
he does. He draws
Tinseltown,
Tinseltown, yeah.
Have you ever met him in person?
Never met him in person,
That's wild.
but he has a brother in Long Beach. I'm trying to get him to come out for next year's WinterCon.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Where-
he lives
where-
in Spain or something?
Philippines.
Okay.
Oh, that's where I'm going.
I know.
Come with me.
I'd like to, man. We'll talk.
Put you in my suitcase.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
but
right.
We are live until I think Monday at 11 a.m. is when the Kickstarter ends. So.
So then it just rains money on you?
Yeah, man.
Very cool. So now that this is wrapping up, and I know you have Tinseltown, do you have other projects on the griddle there?
Yeah, there's some other things that I want to get to.
Yeah? You
Yeah.
want to talk about it, or you want to wait?
Well, I should talk about Tinseltown.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the one just came out.
You had, I believe, if I remember correctly, you had talked briefly on the last episode you were on. Like, I think Tinseltown was just starting to be. You were either starting to write it or starting to plot it.
Yeah, so back then it was called Abigail O'Leary,
That's right.
and I was looking for a publisher, and I found Alterna, and we changed the title. The title's character became Abigail Moore. The title of the book became Tinseltown. And it's about one of the very first female police officers in Hollywood. So it's set in 1915, kind of like Boardwalk Empire meets LA Confidential.
That's awesome.
Period crime drama. And in real life, my mom was a cop for 20 plus years, so it's also kind of my tribute to her.
Nice.
Wow.
I'll drink to that.
But she was more like in the 70s and 80s, like
80s and 90s, yeah.
Foxy Brown or something like that.
Yeah. Well, in Pittsburgh, so more like Hill Street Blues, but yeah.
Nice.
Somebody have a question? Everything good?
So this is Tinseltown. The first issue just came out. You did a signing here, and you said at
Golden
Apple.
Yeah.
It looks great. It's got
That newsprint.
Alterna Comics. We like them here.
Do they own a newsprint press? I mean, where are all their books on newsprint? And how do they get them
That's a
so
good
cheap?
question.
You have to ask Peter.
Okay, we'll ask.
I mean, they're all, it's on newsprint, so their whole thing. We talked about this a couple episodes
Kinda retro.
back. Retro. They set it up so it kind of looks like the '80s Marvel, the late '80s Marvel comics, like with the. This is the first in a 5-issue limited series, and it's monthly?
Bi-month.
Bi-monthly. Okay, all right. I think all their stuff actually is bi-monthly, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It looks really good. I didn't get here this week, so I didn't get a chance to read it. So I read the first half before we started filming. Once again, I love the art.
How did you get picked up by that company?
I pretty much had it in the can, and then I made a list of all the publishers that might be interested in publishing a period crime drama, which is a pretty short list.
IDW, were they on the list?
Yeah, they were one of them. And actually, there was like Boom took a look at it and that kind of thing. But they were the guys that related to it and wanted to do it. And originally they wanted to publish it as a graphic novel, and then I signed the contract for that, and they came back and they said, no, we want to do it as bi-monthly first. So I said, okay, cool.
So do you have to chop it up then and do it differently when they said that? You have to like rearrange anything, or?
Not really, because it was kind of
Chaptered up.
written to be as a episodic kind of thing in some ways. Yeah.
Well, this is going to be coming out.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to talk about? Or?
I got one more thing I need to talk about.
Yeah, anything, man.
Get it off your chest, man. Let's hear it.
You are the guest.
All right. So this is not actually a comic, but it is something that comic book people will be interested in, perhaps. So in the 1950s, before they put on haunted houses for Halloween, they would put on a spooky, funny, scary magic show with hypnotism and mind reading and ghosts and monsters. And a blackout sequence at the climax where you are in total pitch darkness, surrounded by supernatural phenomena that you can't explain.
This sounds amazing.
It's kind of a lost art, but we went back and we found the original ghost show manuals from the 1950s, and we studied them, and we came up with a few twists of our own. So we are bringing it back to Hollywood for 5 shows this June as part of the Fringe Fest. Tickets go on sale May 1st. And I was talking to you about the possibility of maybe doing a comic book field trip up there.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get a party van or something.
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
do it. You guys want to go?
Yes.
Yeah, for it? Awesome.
Where is it?
It's in Hollywood Complex, at the Complex.
Let's do that.
If you do that on June 9th, they're going to be serving Dr. Zomba's Mind Erasers at the bar down the street
Cool.
as part of a promo
No
for
chaser,
the show.
right?
No chaser. And it's a really cool show. It's going to be a lot of fun. The star of the show, David Beach, he was actually handpicked to be the successor to Dr. Silkini, who was one of the guys that did the original Ghost shows in the 50s and was one of the best guys at doing it. That didn't actually end up happening, but we're really excited to have him because he's sort of the heir apparent for this sort of thing.
Right.
And yeah, the director's Kevin Wetmore. He's the head of the theater department at LMU, and I wrote it and I produced it, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Dude, that is awesome. So, like, how did that come about?
So I found this book at Comic-Con one year called Ghost Masters, which talks all about the history of the ghost shows and stuff. And unfortunately, it's out of print now. It costs a lot of money to pick it up on Amazon or whatever. But I wanted to see one because I'm a monster kid who grew up loving Halloween and haunted houses and TV horror hosts and famous monsters of filmland. But nobody's doing them anymore. So I thought, well, if I want to see one, I got to put it on myself.
It's cool. Are you going to have any Elvira-like characters there?
There is a character named Cyrena who is a dancer. And here, I'll just read you. This gives you like a little general taste of what the show's about, right? All attendees must sign a medical waiver. We are not legally responsible if the ghost show scares you to death. Fall under Dr. Zomba's hypnotic spell, you'll never be the same. Win a real dead body. See Cyrena's sensual dance of the damned, banned in 47 countries. The mutilator thirsts for blood. Will it be yours? We make contact with the dead and unleash monsters from beyond the grave. Dr. Zomba's Ghost Show of Terror.
Love it.
I would tell Cyrena the night that we come up there to have Mace, because I noticed Mike immediately was like, "Oh, you got any vampire-like characters?"
Well, there was a sensual dance of the damned. I mean, so what kind of dead body do you have? I mean, this is all real advertising, right?
Yeah, man. You got to
Like
come
a
to the show
dead
and
cat
find
or
out.
something?
You got to find out.
All right. I have a friend whose cat just died. It was on Facebook today. I'll reach out. Anyway, what's next?
What else? Well, let's talk about what we're drinking. We kind
Sure.
of skipped over that. So, a couple of us have. I've got kind of a cooler full of some stuff. I've really been into the blonde ales, and Strand Brewing Company is a local brewing company, and
What, El Segundo?
Torrance. I like their other beers, but this is outstanding. So I picked this up one day last week and really liked it. I've had a couple different blondes over the last couple weeks, and it's really, really good. So what do you have?
I picked up the Ballast Point, the Fathom IPA.
Good.
It's an IPA.
But I'm having Figueroa Mountain Brewing Company Danish Red.
I think you know a lot about Dirty Taps, Mike.
Oh!
Hey! I don't know what this says about me, but about an hour ago I was feeling really icky, because I think I had some
And now you
bad
feel
ramen.
better.
What kind of alcoholic am I where a beer fucking soothes my stomach?
Dude, it's
Yeah.
why do
Is
you
that
think,
bad?
Maybe, but also the bubbles.
Why do you
I-
think they call it ale? It's
Okay.
good for what ails you, man.
Okay.
That is very true,
Seriously.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, so one of the first times I ever got drunk, I took a bunch of shots of tequila and then played beer pong and lost beer
Jesus
pong.
Christ.
And I was not made super incredibly ill. I did barf, but I didn't feel awful because of the beer.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, the bubbles.
Let's roll the
It
clip.
was 'cause
Mike, you win. You won the night. That was fantastic.
that was great.
Does anyone need a beverage?
I do. I have some more of that medicine.
I don't have any more of
Son of a
those.
bitch. All right,
You
well,
want
something
another?
that's
Sure.
similar. Yes. All right. How you guys doing out there? All right.
Everyone's still suffering the Infinity War withdrawals.
Of
Yeah.
course, yes.
Did anybody not like the movie? We don't have to give spoilers, but everybody kind of liked it, right? Cool. You're a so-so?
I'm on a so-so.
You're a so-so?
You're
All
just
right.
on the fence.
I actually cried. I'm not a crier.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
Haven't
not.
seen it.
I'm not.
You haven't seen it?
I'm not gonna say nothing, but some motherfucker, and they're a little, they're a
In
good
the movie?
They're a good actor, yeah. And I don't want to. I was gonna say something that could have given away who it
No,
was.
okay,
but
tell us later.
Someone in there's a good
Stop.
actor.
No, no more.
I'm not saying nothing. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh, he's crying.
Yeah, no, he's gonna if I talk about it. I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh, let's make him cry. Let's do this.
All right. So Paula called Sean a snob, and
He is.
Aunt says that you give good hugs, and two
I'm
people like
totally
rim
snob.
shots.
At least she didn't say I give good rim
Rim
shots.
jobs.
Wait, did she say rim shots?
No, Pal didn't. Aunt, and who is that? Eric? They both enjoy rim shots and rim shot for Sanders.
Bend over, bitch.
I don't know what this means.
Rim shot time. I don't know. But we have a really enthusiastic audience at home, and that's like Friday night, and they're home watching this.
Wait,
oh my God, I love you guys.
Kick them out if they say yes.
My hugs are warm, and what?
And kick them out if they say yes.
Oh, let's say yes. We're
I don't
confused.
know.
Anyway, hi.
Still talking
You're
about
doing
jobs.
your work is extra thick tonight, Science
Yeah.
Officer Jordan.
Yeah.
So, I am totally snob. I don't know if that was in reference to the fact that I've never made beer or
It's
that I
about
didn't.
the beers.
I think it's
Yeah.
the
No,
beer
we do know
taps.
You're a beer snob.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
okay.
totally.
Own it.
You
I mean,
enjoy
just
your
own
beer,
it.
you love
Yeah,
beer.
I totally own it.
I want to go bar hopping with you
Okay.
and be like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
And
Let's wait, just
Hal-
skip them all. Yes.
Hal's telling Mike and Chris to keep dreaming, and I'm not drinking anything tonight, but next time I think I'm going to bring a nice port wine.
Keep
All
dreaming.
right.
Dreaming about what? I never
Yeah.
stop
I
dreaming.
don't know.
I'm always dreaming.
Don't
That's
stop.
how
What you talking about, woman?
Beer
All right.
tap.
So let's talk about some other stuff.
You want to talk about comics?
Yeah, let's talk about some comics.
What are you drinking, Jordan?
I was
She just
drinking
said-
milk tea.
Milk tea,
Next
okay.
time port wine.
Cool. All right. Ooh.
So, David, you're the guest. What did you buy tonight? Begin. Anything.
Okay, so I picked up, I haven't actually read it yet, but I picked up Rock Stars by Megan Hutchinson, does the art. And the reason why I picked it up is because she is going to be doing a pinup of Abigail Moore for issue 4 of
Oh,
Tinseltown.
nice.
And we just kind of ended up talking because we were both on a couple of panels and podcasts together, and I was looking for somebody to do it. Actually, Rafael Navarro is going to have a pinup in issue 2,
Awesome.
and Don Walker's going to have a pinup in
Oh,
issue 3.
wow.
We're all one big
Raphael-
comic book family.
Raphael, he does fill out a bikini pretty nice.
Oh yeah.
Did you see
Forward to.
when he bombed the Olympics? Not bombed you, but new bomb.
Yeah, him in Atlanta.
Ballerina bombed the Olympics. Did you see that?
Through the Olympics?
Yeah, yeah. That's
Roll
why number
the
6
clip.
is late. we can juxtapose an image.
Oh,
Yes.
let's take it in there.
But anyway, go ahead.
Oh, so
Pinup artist.
yeah, I picked that up, and then I picked up Hit Girl.
Shot is
I guess they're doing a new Hit Girl, right?
No, it's a new series. So he's brought back Kick-Ass 3.
No, but I mean, but Kick-Ass.
Oh, is it
the
a
new
new
Kick-Ass?
character?
It's a
Different
different person that is Kick-Ass.
Now,
It's not the same dude
is
before.
it-
Now it's a gal.
Is it one of
Is
these
that
things where the
Kick-Ass?
mantle has passed, or is it like a totally
I think the
different?
mantle has
That's
passed.
what I'm
yeah.
wondering, if this is a new hit girl to go along with the new Kick-Ass.
Yeah, so Millar has Millar World. I
Yeah.
think they have a deal on
Netflix
or something.
Yeah,
So they're
he sold like
he's probably
9
trying to
titles
juice
or
up all of
something.
his old stuff and get interest going in it. So that guy, he's the Billy Corgan of comics.
No. He's actually good.
Rama Wusarica is watching from Italy.
Oh,
Hey.
Wow, we're in
Wow.
Italy now.
All right.
Tell me how a slice of pizza.
Ciao bella.
I'll
we
be going to
traffic in
Italy.
stereotypes here. As
Where you
you can
going to
tell.
Italy? Well, no, that's where the fucking home of pizza. Chicago. Hate to break it to you.
As soon as the Ghost show's
Try
over,
the
I'm
gabagool.
flying to Italy and
Where you
going to Torino.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you gonna hit Rome at all or no?
Nah, probably just stay around there.
Okay. Is that far from Rome?
I think.
Okay. Yeah. I was in Rome, and there's a really awesome comic shop in Trastevere, which is like the Silver Lake of Rome. And it's owned by this lady who divorced. There's a Silver
Lots
Lake in
of
Rome, yeah.
vessels.
It's like a
You guys
hipster
walk around
area
in
of Rome.
dolphin shorts all the
But
time.
check this out. So the lady that owns it and her son, like she had divorced her husband, who was like a production designer for 20th Century Fox, and I guess he designed the store. And there's like candy pipes, but with gumballs like running through it. And the son's like, "Oh, we'll have some sangria with us," and it was like the best comic shop ever. I mean, I can't remember what it's called.
It's better than this one, really.
Yeah, it's better than this one.
They have
Dude, they have sangria. Like you buy a comic, they're like, "Let's have some sangria," not just one cup. Well, like you like in Italy, like you just hang out.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, that's why this place is so great. I walk in here. I just told somebody last night. I think I was just telling you guys. Like, it's the best comic shop I've ever been to. Every time I go in there, there's a band playing, somebody making chili, or Mike hands me a beer.
right.
I
Maybe if you
mean,
hang out there long enough, you get a podcast there.
yeah.
No, but it was a cool shop. And I enjoyed being at that store better than going to the Coliseum or wherever those rapey popes hang out. The Vatican. Sorry.
That's it.
Let's start a band called the Rapey Popes.
That's where my mind went to. The band name. Okay, who else? Who else has something? I mean, the comic.
Oh, comic-wise. Oh, well, I got a few things. I have not had a chance to read it, but I've read the previous volumes of Silver.
Okay.
But at Free Comic Day, we're going to have Stephen Frank here on Sunday. Not here, but at Culver City. And this is a really cool, strong female vampire killer, even cooler than Buffy. Buffy fans, check out Silver. If you like Buffy, check it out. This is Buffy if she was a grown-ass woman. It's really cool, striking black and white illustration.
Yeah.
And kind of like Edward Rizzo kind of style.
It looks awesome.
And Steven's a super nice guy, and he'll be with us Sunday, as will this fine man. This is my favorite.
So that's awesome.
This is awesome, right? We read this. Shouldn't be showing it probably.
Well, I don't even remember the name. Is it Barrier?
It's called Barrier.
Yeah.
I'm on the fence with it.
It
I
doesn't
really
translate at all to a black and white flyer.
So
So,
first-
like you can pick, like if you're a pool customer here, you can pick 5 comics, and it's this big splotch of black, and nobody circles it. And I'm like,
Right.
you probably want that. I'm like, what the hell is it? And
It's new Brian K. Vaughan. Who's the artist? I don't
It's Marcos Martin, I believe. Yes, Marcos Martin.
Very good book. It's laid
If I
out.
hand this around, we all treat it very gently and nicely, and okay.
It's laid out in landscape instead of portrait.
I think it's been available online, but yeah, it's going to be a 6-issue weekly series. Or 5
Yeah,
week.
weekly.
Yeah, weekly, yeah.
It's really good. It really comes down to I liked it, but I was like, well, you know, I wasn't sold. The last page to me, I was like, because they mentioned something at the beginning, and then it kind of comes back around, and I really, it made it for me.
But you know, I mean, to me, I mean, I read that issue and it felt like something I've read before.
Really?
It feels like that whole 30-page issue reminds me of the first 6 pages of Saucer State.
It definitely. So here's a question. I keep forgetting about this. Is Saucer State still coming out?
Didn't
I
it
think so.
change names? Didn't it? Wasn't it?
Well, no. Saucer Country was the original
There it
one,
is, okay.
but Saucer State
Yeah.
came out, and I only got the first issue. I have not seen it.
They probably have it at 4 Color Fantasies in Rancho Cucamonga.
Fuck you. Look,
With Garth Ennis.
4-color
We
fantasies.
can easily check by going ahead and emailing their
Yeah,
friendly
yeah.
customer service at info@fourcolorfantasies.com.
So
This is how I get free shit.
So Chris sent me a message. He's like, "Hey, Garth Ennis is signing at 4-Color Fantasies in Rancho Cucamonga." I don't do autographs ever. Like the only autograph I've ever gotten here was David Lapham, and you know, I mean,
I signed your Guns Ablazing when you bought
you
it.
did, but I'm saying like I don't go wait in line or pay money for autographs. I just don't do it.
What are you
Is that not a fucking autograph?
It is.
It's
And
in cursive,
I
dude.
appreciate it. David signed this copy of Tinseltown I just bought. I appreciate
that's
it. I'm
an
just
autograph.
saying.
Gift horse?
Sorry.
Ooh, fuck off. So anyway, all right, what else we got? Who else wants to talk about something?
I went Black Mask this episode because this is my I think this is my favorite imprint right now.
Yeah,
everything they've been putting out. So the other day I picked up issues 1, 2, and 3 of a 4-issue little mini series called Gravetrancers. And just right there, just looking at that cover, it got me. You know, it's very 1980s
Horror.
Exactly. Yeah, it looks great.
What do you know? Like, have you read it? Do you know what it's about?
Yeah. So basically, there's kind of 2 things going on here. One is your overarching story. It's a brother and sister who've been traveling across country to visit the remains of their father at a cemetery. They finally found out where their long-lost father's been buried, and they need closure, and so they're going to go try to do that. And when they arrive at the cemetery, the family who owns, runs, and lives on the grounds, they say it's the nation's oldest cemetery. It's still functioning. They're a little too hospitable. They're a little too welcoming. So that's kind of the first overarching story. But behind it, there's also this whole thing where, essentially, ingesting remains of the dead basically makes people trip balls. And you get flashbacks from they tell you stories of from Vikings when they would burn the bodies on the funeral pyres, and they would see Valhalla in the flames because they're breathing in all this stuff and getting high as shit. Gets into the Salem witch trials, and when they would be burning the witches, they would see the demons coming out of them. So there's a whole kind of gimmick to that too, and you can kind of see in some of these, you see these little needles injecting God knows what. But just right off the bat, I mean, just these covers alone just sold me on it. Yeah, it's a really fun book. I mean, it's just a short little 4-story little kind of one and done thing.
Little fun fact about Chris is he likes to buy the first 3 issues of 4-issue miniseries and saves money by making up his own endings.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And at the very end of this, Snape killed Dumbledore. Fantastic.
Jordan has one to share.
See it coming.
Sure. Talk
Yes.
about them all, but I do really,
Well, you have
really
a
love
couple to
that
share
one.
actually, don't you? Got 2.
What?
Yes.
Oh, okay, fine. But I'll
Yes.
start with them all. The tagline says it all: an 80s coming-of-age crime story. Some teenage boy in the 80s, his father he never knew died, and he was in the mob, so he inherited a piano store where they're cooking the books. And
In an old school 80s mall.
Yeah, and he bets the football player a date with his girlfriend if he can kick his ass at some game you used to love.
Kung Fu.
Kung Fu Fighter or something.
Kung Fu Fighter.
Yeah,
something.
Kung Fu Fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he wins. He gets the date, and I like it a lot. It had me from the
Hilarity
beginning.
ensues.
The year that Karate Kid 2 came out.
Yeah.
You guys see that movie?
That's the one.
I used to play
Quote
that
it.
game in the arcade and fucking sing the Glory of Love to people when I beat them.
No, you gotta sing. If you're gonna sing a Karate Kid song, you gotta sing "You're the Best Around."
Well, that's the first one.
I know that,
Yeah.
and it's the best
It's the best
around.
Yes.
Mike
You
thinks
can't top
it's too
that shit.
wordy, but I like it.
It was
I
very
like
wordy,
it.
but there was some really nice epiphanies in here that I was like, oh, I'm learning about love when I read this. That's who's the artist that did Rio Duran?
Oh,
Nagel. It's got like a Nagel-esque cover.
well, and it's pretty in pink. Isn't it the
That's the
cover to
Pretty
Pretty
in Pink,
Pink?
yeah, I mean,
Oh,
very
Well,
80s.
the cover's a little misleading because none of those people are in the book.
That is very true.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the thing too. That's actually that Free Comic Day issue. That's issue 0.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is by. So here's my question to you: Scout Comics.
Yep.
I had not heard of them before, but they have a lot of books that looked pretty good that they advertise.
James Pruitt is the main man behind Scout. Yeah, so he's been in the game for a while. I think he might have been involved in can't remember the company, but a company that went out of business. But this will hopefully stay in business.
I really liked that. I
Yeah.
read it today, and at first when I opened it, like I didn't expect the art to look like it did, so it threw me. Not it wasn't bad. I just
Right.
didn't expect it. But so then as I read it, I really liked it, and I liked.
That's a real place. You ever been to the gold mine?
No.
Anybody? Chicago people? Gold
I
mine.
don't think they had them in Chicago.
It was an arcade. I know that it was in Sandusky, Ohio, where I grew up. But yeah, gold mine was a real place.
Well, that
Right next
takes
to
place
the
in
theater.
Florida, so that makes sense. That like I can
Dude,
see that chain.
Wait,
being-
isn't that where like fucking Tommy Boy's from?
Who's Tommy Boy? Oh, yeah, Sandusky. Yeah.
Was that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tommy
claim the fame.
Tommy
man.
Boy.
Chris Farley and yeah. Anyway, what else we got, Jordan?
Okay, something called Star Burns, which has at least 2 stories in it. And the first one is super boring.
Ooh, wow. And it's written by.
Patton Oswalt.
Ooh, wow. But you like Patton Oswalt, right?
I enjoy him very much, and yet he just tells the story in the most boring way you possibly can.
I'd like
Basically,
to-
he treated it like stand-up, and it does not transfer well.
What I do like about his story is it's actually about a friend of mine, Christopher Dennis, who was the Hollywood Superman guy.
Oh.
He's just in it for like a panel.
I know,
he
but it's
doesn't
only
do
an 8-page
anything in the story.
watches
Except
the
he
guy.
holds the hand of a guy
Yeah.
having a seizure.
And the second story is Oddwell, which is by one of our guests at Free Comic Day. For $150, you can be the first in line to meet David A. Clark at Free Comic Day at the Comic Bug. He'll be both days.
$150.
It's a VIP package.
Or you could go see Ennis for $5.
Ours was 30.
David Clark will be at both Comic Bug events, along with
He jumbled it.
Walter Bryant and one of the other guys that worked on this. So this is it's a comic book
Neil
made
charges that
up,
much.
I think, from stand-up comedians.
Oh, is
Also,
it
your
on
boy Dan Harmon.
Dan Harmon writes the best story in there. Oddwell by your friend was good too.
Yeah. So
It was sweet.
that'll be here at Free Comic Day. Sean, you read Action Comics 1000. What do you think?
I read like 2 stories, and I mean it.
They're 4-page stories, dude.
Yeah, well, that's how good they were.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
You know, I mean,
Check that out.
it's Superman's just not my thing. DC's making a big deal about Bendis is coming. He's going to write for DC. I mean, I don't know.
He wears his underwear on the outside again, which is
Well, and
I like that.
and so in a very meta way, like they keep referencing that, like like I think.
So now he's
maybe-
getting shit
no,
stains on his
actually-
actual pants as opposed to his underwear.
Maybe they don't mention it in the story. Maybe it's because
You know,
he kept
it's really
saying that
impractical.
that day. I don't know.
Anyway,
Yeah, Mike for sure kept saying it.
what did I say?
That they put his underwear back on. The
Well, look at the way Jim Lee drew the cover. It's like, hey, Right here,
And
underwear.
For Jim Lee, that looks like ass.
Wait, yeah,
Yeah,
it
that's
does.
all right.
Wait, he hasn't
guys
looked
are-
like
For
that?
Jim Lee draws some very iconic covers. That is not one of them.
Well, they're showing the fact that he's got his
phoning
underwear
it in.
back.
He spent
I was
more
just
time
like-
drawing his
They're like the most
underwear.
important thing is he's got his underwear back on the outside. So
It's a strong man outfit.
yeah, which it's nice because it breaks up the blue like when
No,
he wasn't when he was
I-
wearing his underwear like we do.
I like the
It was
blue.
like all blue. Yeah.
It looked good.
All right.
It looked like a fucking adult.
Well, this is the biggest selling comic of all time. So
Wait.
What?
That issue?
that issue, I think so. Fact check me.
More than Death of
Will fact
Superman,
check
more
you.
than
Think so?
Batman's back
Well.
Like, are we
getting
just
broken.
talking
Action
like
Comics
opening
number
day of
1000?
sales?
More than Guns
I don't
a-Blazing.
know.
Say it ain't so, Mike.
Yeah, well, we only make limited amounts.
Hey, I wanted a quick thing. So, your friend Duff, or my friend as well, but I know him through you. So, what's his comic store in North Carolina? In
Earth
Elizabeth?
383.
Earth 383. So he has a band, Junior,
Mhm.
and they have a song, Guns a-Blazing, and he sent me like the video he's working on.
Oh, did
for
he?
it, and,
Yeah,
it's pages from the comic. It's great, man.
Yeah, he did a great job.
I really dig his band a lot.
Cool. Well, it's going to be on a CD that we're putting out with issue 6.
Nice.
So yeah, Duff's got a rock band, Junior.
Why is this the first that I'm hearing about that?
Dude, I did tell you about it.
No,
You
you
guys were
didn't.
going to do a thing with Uncle Dick, maybe, and
What?
I'm,
Fuck you.
all right, right now. I'm gonna reiterate my zero bullshit policy. Yes, I talked about it early this year. I was like, hey, I want to do a full LP. I want 6 bands to do covers of the songs from the issues that were named after. And then on side B, Carl King is going to write a 15-minute orchestral piece.
Oh, nice. He's good. I met
And he's
him
awesome,
at the.
So
like,
Carl went ahead and wrote the orchestral thing. None of the bands responded, including maybe.
This is the first I'm hearing about it.
I thought I told you about it. Oh, maybe I need to communicate better.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you can still do something. CDs. Anyway, we'll talk about
I
it.
got to run up on my label, but I'll see what I can
Oh,
do.
that's right. You're all contractually obligated and shit. Anyway, so Duff went ahead and wrote this Guns a-Blazing song, which is really fun, and we have the orchestra stuff, and so that's what the record consists of right now, and the CD. We're doing a vinyl as well.
Awesome.
Nice.
So that'll be out for Comic-Con. Fingers crossed.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're right in that claim. It just promises to be one of the best-selling comics of the year.
Well, this was before
According
it came
to
out.
Jim Lee
I
of DC
can't
Comics.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Bendis.
I
swear he's telling you the truth.
I want Chris to talk
Plus
about the other
Regal.
thing that he
Yeah.
has here. Not that
Oh,
one. Well, I mean, you
this-
can talk about that too, but
Oh yeah.
these two
These are
bear-
going to be the what dumb shit that Chris buys. I want to talk about this one real fast too. This is another one from Black Mass I picked up. This is issue 1, just came out, called The Wilds. And this one, it seems to me like it has a lot of potential. I'm going to at least give it to issue 3, see where it goes. I know you weren't really too impressed from
I mean, it wasn't bad.
First
I was just
one,
like,
it
I
wasn't anything
felt like
great.
I'd read it before.
Yeah, because, you kind of have.
Back when it was
in-
called
in
The
one
Woods or
sense.
Trees.
No, not at all. Basically, what it is it's again, post-apocalyptic,
Which I'm kind of
dystopian
dumb.
future. But what it is, it's there was this virus that basically people thought was the flu, and it kind of went ignored for a while. But essentially, it mixes up people's DNA, and they kind of become these. I don't want to say like zombies, but they're living kind of creatures who just they want to infect other people to kind of the virus in them wants to kind of keep
Multiplying.
going.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's really true because anytime you see any of these people,
Yeah,
like
I did like that.
they're like infused with like plants or feathers and something.
Yeah,
it just
it
takes
is-
some weird, just all kinds of weird DNA.
It looks weird. Like, I like the art. I've never seen art like that before. The way he draws people, especially
Yeah.
their faces, and then also the way he draws the infected was really unique. And just, especially the infected, I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Yeah.
But essentially, what the story is
Funny enough, I've seen art like that.
it's X amount of years after this thing's kind of gone down, and they have these different little I forget what they call them. These little communities. They call them something.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So basically, these little communities and these enclaves, they, in order to live there, you have to sign a contract, and in that contract, you have to do X amount of service for the community. You got to earn your keep. So the main character is this gal, and she's a runner, and it's her job to take one of the only cars and kind of drive out into the wild and basically scavenge, get supplies, things like that, and bring them on back. Now, the center of this conflict is this gal. She's like the top runner. Her contract is up, and her girlfriend, lover, whatever it is, she wants her to. She wants to get out and
They
go.
want to leave.
But the runner, she really doesn't, because she's having a kind of moral thing. So,
Well, she believes in what she does, 100%.
She believes in what she does, and she knows that she's the best. And if she leaves, then she thinks that the whole community's basically fucked.
Well, she says
She's the
like,
best around.
She references
She's
like
the best
that
around,
little boy
yes.
would have died if I hadn't brought this medicine or whatever.
Exactly.
So,
she has a lot more compassion than
Yeah.
the other people do, to the point where in this first issue we see she saves some guy out on the road and brings him back. That's what the bag on the head is, because she doesn't want to know
well, they
where
don't
the
want him to know.
enclave
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
There's good lesbian sex in there too.
There is.
Yeah.
There is. So that's the selling point.
Yeah, so
Girl,
you're
yo.
saying you've never seen people drawn this way with like lines like that?
Look at their faces around the eyes. They all have this. I mean,
I'm pretty sure they're just leaving in sketch lines is basically what's happening.
okay.
But no, it looks great.
Let me talk about two things real quick, because
Yeah.
I came in here, I don't know, 2 weeks ago maybe, and there was a signing, and so it was Danny Lobell
Yep.
and Amy Hay. Amy also drew Danny's comic, Fair Enough, and Fair Enough. I really liked it. It was it looked like a slice of life thing. He talks about how he wanted to be a stand-up. Well, he talks about
He is a
how-
stand-up. Yeah.
I know, but just give me a minute.
Okay.
So he talks about how he grew up and how he wanted to be a stand-up, and then he kind of got into it, and then he really liked Harvey. Is it Pete? It's Pete
Weinstein.
Harvey Picard.
no, he didn't. And American Splendor, and so he actually looked. He's like, maybe he's in the phone book, and he called him up and talked to him, and Harvey became kind of a mentor to him, and it was really cool. I really liked the book. It was very personal, and then Amy Hay and I got her book too, and it's
T.
written by Rhea and drawn by Amy Hay, and it's called T. And
Exclamation point.
I mean, this book is freaking gorgeous. Look at the colors. You can, I'm sure you can see them across the room. They just pop.
I just see green.
I really, really liked this.
I see hills of green and skies of blue.
Yeah, it's a nice book.
So it was cool, but I enjoyed meeting them. I thought Danny was very cool. He was.
I really like that cover. I like that.
It's like a church.
What am I blanking
glass
on?
thing.
No, what's that style called? With the
Art Nouveau.
yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah.
I knew something.
Yeah, Nubo.
Yeah.
So okay. So, but props to them.
Cool.
Talk about the.
Yeah.
Go with Henry and Glenn first.
No, I think. So I picked these up the other day. They're from 1989 from Eternity Comics.
What's this section called?
This section's called the dumb shit that Chris bought this month.
Hold on, I'm gonna make a theme song. Okay, that's long enough. Go ahead.
All right. So what is so this is a book called Uncensored Mouse, and it went for two little volumes until they got sued to shit by Disney.
So this isn't like some weird mouse porn.
No. That's we'll talk about that.
No, I don't wish.
Crack one open, dude.
So basically, what it is it's classic uncensored reproductions from the original Floyd Gottfriedson comic strips from the 1930s of Mickey Mouse. And at the time, these had fallen into public domain, so they were legally allowed to reprint them until Disney made a big stink, threw their Disney fucking money around, sued them to shit, and then that's when they actually changed a lot of the copyright laws.
Right. So that actually changed copyright laws. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So these aren't like Tijuana Bibles. These
No.
are,
These were the original 1930s
So what's
Mickey Mouse.
What's
Now,
wrong with it? Why? What was censored?
Oh, because it is a lot of
doing
times you'll see
drugs and
Mickey smoking and drinking, and it's very un-Disney. But
Right.
it's 1930s, and not just that, but I mean, it's also there's some stuff in here that's pretty goddamn racist. for this day and age.
So, but
shit.
this was published by Disney back in the day.
So here's Mickey,
I think it was
and
published by
he
someone who's like,
is
"Oh, use Mickey
do
Mouse."
whatever. Yeah.
thinking that here's this tribe who they like me, they're gonna make me their king, their chief. No, they're gonna try to eat him and all this kind of stuff, and it's very fucking racist.
Wow.
And this was 1930. This is about 80 years ago at this point. This is basically stuff that Disney they want to sweep under the rug. They want this stuff to be forgotten
But they didn't
about.
produce it themselves.
Well,
Somebody
no,
else
they did
went
not.
and
They
made
did
it
not
themselves.
because it fell into public domain. So they
Okay.
were at the time legally allowed to reprint.
Anybody
and
could
sell
go
these
make a
things. Anybody could. Anybody could go ahead and do that. Like Night of the Living Dead is a
Right.
public domain film.
Still
Anybody
is,
at any
yeah.
time. That still is. But that's because Romero didn't have those Disney bucks.
Yeah.
So this thing, it went for 2 issues. It got sued to shit, and then never reprinted after that. And I don't even know if I think Eternity Comics is still around.
Probably not.
No, that's not what
They
did them
just-
in, but yeah,
they went away.
So did this end? Did this lawsuit end Eternity Comics?
I'm not sure.
No, okay.
I mean, this was 1989.
I
wanna
remember
say
the
when
name
these-
Eternity
when
Comics.
These
but I
came out.
don't
Yeah.
remember.
Let me see these. Yeah, 1980, April of '89.
So I don't
Division
know
of
much
Malibu.
about Disney or Mickey Mouse. So was Mickey Mouse a character that this guy invented, and then eventually Disney bought the rights to the likeness?
No, originally, back in the early 20s, late
Oswald
teens,
was the first one.
Oswald Rabbit was the first character that Walt Disney had created, and I forget who he created it for, but he basically got royally ripped off, and he got pissed off about that, so he started up his own thing, which is his Disney, and that's when he created Mickey Mouse and Steamboat Willie and all that kind of shit. Once that popularity caught on, these kind of things these were in the newspapers. These were published weekly, short little stories, and these were actually drawn and written by Floyd Gottfriedson. Who,
So he was writing
writing
Disney's character.
for Disney.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's what
this
I
wasn't
did.
Disney himself.
Right. Okay.
Writing this stuff. But it had his thumbs up. It had his approval on it at the time. And again, like you look at some of these things in here, and it's like this would never fly now. Never, ever, ever. And that's exactly why. They wanted
Right.
it to. People would forget about it. And unfortunately, when things fall into public domain like that,
Yeah, but you can do what you want.
you can do just about anything unless you have enough money to have laws change in your favor.
Right. Like
So.
Disney.
Yeah, so it's a fun little piece of history that I just like to share and
That's
throw
cool.
out
So that's
there,
not
just
so
because
dumb.
it's fuck Disney.
Did you buy it on
No,
eBay or did you
No,
get
no,
it at a
no.
garage sale? Or?
No, I got them on eBay actually. I got both of those for like $4.
Yeah, so that's
Something
not
like
the
that.
dumb shit that Chris bought. Did you buy something else that was dumb?
Oh yeah, I bought something else.
I don't
that
think
was
this is dumb at all. I think this
I
is
love it.
hysterical.
It's so dumb. I love it.
So let's
This
talk about
is-
how these people don't get sued.
This-
Tom Neely. I don't want him to.
So Tom Neely, he put out a series of various sized.
I mean, they almost look
little
like chick
paperback
comics in a way.
Exactly. So this is actually the collected hardcover edition, but this is
I love that you bought this.
Henry and Glenn Forever and Ever.
So if you don't know what this is a comic strip where Henry Rollins and Glenn Danzig, who both I am a fan of to some degree, are gay lovers, and they live next door, and they're very nice and like very.
And the fun.
They live next door to Hall and Oates, who are fucking
Yeah,
Satan
asshole
worshippers.
neighbors, yeah.
No, they're full-on Satanists. They're black robes. They're just hail Satan, and it's Hall & Oates. But what's interesting is that yes, they are like partners together, but there's never any like overtly like gay
No,
stuff
but
going on. They're
there's
just
like
like,
the
hey, honey,
Hold me, yeah.
That's sweet
hey,
stuff.
hey, going
It's
to the
adorable.
going to the market. You need anything? Yeah, don't forget my chips.
It's adorable. It really is.
And what's nice with this too is, this is the collection. I mean, it's a fairly sized, pretty good book. It's about 300 pages, and there's got to be at least 10 different artists who've
Yeah.
contributed to this thing.
The styles run the gamut.
I love Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop is the at their wedding,
Yeah, holy.
holding his black veil, and and they make Glenn Danzig such a drama queen in this thing too, and that's not that far from the truth.
Read the reviews. What
Yeah, this is my favorite thing. On the back, the quotes with his, has Glenn seen this? Trust me, he would not be amused.
That's
Henry
awesome.
Rollins. Next quote, people are extremely stupid. Glenn Danzig. Fortunately, something like this falls under fair use because it's a parody.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when it comes to parody, there's absolutely nothing that anybody can do about it.
Any other questions from the audience or quotes or anything? What'd you learn tonight? Oh, yes,
Oh,
it's here,
yeah.
all the way from Chicago.
Yes, please.
This came all the way from Chicago. So somebody who's I really don't have any like education in the comic book space, but I was an English teacher and I did incorporate a lot of graphic novels into my teaching.
Oh, nice.
You're awesome.
And if you could describe or explain to me the differences between graphic novels and comic books,
No difference.
Yeah.
then what? Then
Well, let me ask
I
you
have an
this:
answer.
what graphic novels would you?
So
you
there
have
are
your
lots
students?
of coming of age, which it sounds like comic books are a lot. I don't know if you've ever read Blankets.
Oh, yeah.
The newest graphic novel I read, I think, came out in 2017 or 16, called Moonpath.
Okay.
That art
see
is
that one.
awesome. It's really really great.
I have an
But
answer for you.
One of the first graphic novels I remember reading actually in when way back when I was in school was actually Mouse.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
and when you held up that there's Mouse 1, Mouse 2.
Yeah.
About the Holocaust.
Yeah.
So I read that in
that
college.
was a really interesting
That was
way to
fascinating,
teach
yeah.
kids the atrocities of the Holocaust, on a way that they could actually understand,
Right.
the cat and mouse kind of thing. I mean, for me, I think graphic novels is kind of what we were talking about, where you have a beginning, middle, and end. It's a novel that somebody has written, and then it has been illustrated, which gives you the
Well,
graphic.
Will Eisner coined the term graphic novels, and he did that in the, I think, 1970s. And he put out a graphic novel called A Letter from God, which is called the first graphic novel, and like you said, it has beginning, middle, and end. And he coined the term because he wanted it to be taken more seriously than
Than a comic
comic books. So it's funny, like I always call them comic books to me, because it's like, yeah, let's get dirty. They're comic books.
The funny pages.
Yes, Watchmen came out as a comic book series, a 12-issue comic book.
But it's
maxi series.
considered a graphic
But
novel.
now, when the movie came out, it says based on the graphic novel.
Well, I think also at that point, when the movie came out, it was about 20 years since it originally had come out in
Yeah.
print, and at that point, it was more popular.
More people had read it as
in
a
the
collection.
trade form as an.
But it came out as a comic book,
as
so
an actual trade.
Blankets came out as one piece, a graphic novel.
And it literally is that thick.
But really, it is. No, I've read it. I was surprised I read it because it's 600 pages and I have a very short attention span. But so I think that it's kind of an elitist sort of thing to call things a graphic novel, maybe.
I don't know about elitist. I mean,
It can
I think
Yeah.
that it's more of like a genre specific thing. If you look at some of these kind of monthly these monthly issues that are there. Some of these are blatantly comic books. Like your Action Comics 1000,
That's a
1001, 1002. That's a comic book.
But when that's
You look at
collected with the
another
next 5
Superman-
issues, it'll be referred to as a graphic novel,
Right.
but somewhat erroneous.
But there are some,
trade
but there are
paperback,
some
they also call it.
that straight come out as
There's a
just
point-
like this right here, where it is. This is a collected.
When it has
You
an
know,
ending already.
This
planned.
is a big.
Is that a comic
thick-
book or a graphic novel?
Well, it was originally published as 4 comics, and now it's a graphic novel. I don't know.
Or a trade
So
paperback?
Right.
Tori, that is one of the things in that, like, there are, like, graphic novels, a lot of them are just a collection of what was published monthly. Now, sometimes they're written as, as a novel and just broken up to be, well, like you were talking with Alterna Comics. At first
Yeah.
they wanted to do it as a graphic novel, so you had written it as, so it had chapters. So most graphic novels have chapters. You could just basically take those chapters and publish them monthly. So, it's kind of,
What's
depends
interesting
on
is
how
how
you want to market it or
It's
refer to it.
who
Yeah.
says it and how they say it.
Yeah.
It's if you knew someone who hates superhero comics, you wouldn't say, "Hey, read my comic." Then you'd say, "Read my graphic novel."
Yeah.
Now
'Cause you
here's
don't automatically think of superhero.
now here's something
Yeah.
interesting. So at this point, about 20 years ago, Stephen King, who we all know is known for his novels, he put out
Green Mile.
The Green Mile, and when he put that out originally, he put it out as a monthly series where you would purchase everywhere, grocery stores
Yeah.
and everything.
A
And
small
it was
book.
small, about this thick, and it was like 1 or 2 chapters, and he put it out in
It was a serial,
over the span,
which is how
a serial,
Dickens
exactly.
published.
Right.
They were serials, and then later collected into novels.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle as well too. Yeah, exactly, serials. So he would put out these little kind of, little snippets like that, eventually you could either get the collected version or you could track down these kind of things like that, So that's kind of right there, that's akin to how some of these are.
Yeah.
Some of these, very easily could be published from the go as an entire thing, but sometimes depending on the publishers and the backing behind it, they want to either test the waters with things, and see, we'll put out a couple issues and see how it fares.
It's interesting that the advent of the trade paperback and the sort of direction of the marketplace leaning into trade paperbacks has changed monthly comics. You guys heard of Days of Future Past, right? Mm-hmm. It was a 2-issue series.
Yeah.
It was like 40 pages, and that whole thing is done, and it's got a lot of information in it, a lot of things happen. If that were to come out now, that would be minimum like a 6-issue miniseries. So they take the stories now and they kind of, like what would back in 1980 be like a 22-page story, becomes a 6-month story arc.
Yep.
Right?
They pat them to boost sales.
Yeah. So they're really
they throw money to advertising.
Can't remember what the word is, but they're diluted, I would say. But yeah,
they do like Lost.
Okay, so we're gonna run out of camera.
We gotta wrap it up.
So
you have a comment or question or no?
He's just hanging out.
Oh, he's just hanging out.
He's stretching his legs.
David Lucarelli.
Yes.
We've got the Children's Vampire Hunting Brigade, the final volume. You can kickstart this shit until when did you say?
Until Monday at 11 a.m.
Now, hang on.
Yeah, live on Kickstarter.
I'm remembering, you brought this box that you have behind you that has some things in it. Do you want to show?
You know what I want to do is I want to give everybody that came out here a free poster before they
Oh, that's
awesome. Right. Free Comic Day, May 5th, here, May 6th, Culver City.
May 7th, Mike Wellman's house.
May 7th, Mike Wellman's house.
Just
June 9th,
We're gonna bring Darth
Dr.
Dennis.
Samba's Ghost Show of Terror.
What are you talking about? We're having a fucking party at Mike Wellman's house. Oh, I'll be there.
Where the fuck's the Sierra Nevada?
Serena's going to be dancing there.
Yes.
Oh, dude, that
Swipe right
I
on this.
can't wait. Actually, I need to get one of those.
Yeah,
But
yes.
okay, so from Drinking with Comics, thank you. Good night.
Just remember to turn my feet off.
Nah.